What's your name and what do you do for a living?
Jeremy Swanson, and I've been tattooing for like 24 years now.
Why'd you decide to become a tattooer?
Well, eBay was popular. It just hit the market. I used to draw stuff for people, and they would go get it tattooed by other people. And I always wondered, why has my art changed so much when it leaves from a picture and goes to a tattooer and comes back? So a buddy of mine bought some shit off the internet and wanted to try it out. So I said, sure, let's try it out. So I gave him a tattoo. Looked like shit. And I figured out real quick why my art looked way different when it entered a tattoo shop and then it exited on a human being. A lot of the stuff I was drawing just wasn't meant to be tattooed at that time, you know.
So what would make it different? Like something that you draw on paper, why would it necessarily not make a good tattoo?
Gaps, certain imagery, lines not intersecting at the right spots. There's so much science that I don't really want to give away too much about tattooing and making a good tattoo, but it needed to change. Most of the time the tattoos would look better than my drawings. And I wanted to know why. I was ADD, I wanted to know why.
How long did it take you to figure that out?
About 15-20 minutes went inside hanging out with a tattooer who tattooed and drew for a living.
So is that how you got into it really? You started hanging out with somebody that was tattooing? Was that like who apprenticed you, or were you self-taught mostly?
There was a guy that I went to learn some stuff, the local guy here in Detroit, named Mel the Head. He was pretty popular. About 6 months into him giving me pointers and kind of me hanging out at the shop, it was a pseudo-esque apprenticeship, right?
So you kind of snuck in.
And yeah. And he unfortunately passed away of cancer. And then at the funeral, a good buddy of his owned a shop in a school that was local here, and told me he had a shop that I could come work at, and he could teach me the rest of what I needed to know. So I just showed up, started working one day.
That's awesome. What artists inspire you these days? Like, who are the ones you look up to, or who would you want to get tattooed by?
Well, a big one is a fellow artist here in the shops, Marshall. He does awesome black and gray work, and a lot of my stuff is bold traditional stuff. So like watching somebody like Marshall tattoo the way he tattoos, I've learned quite a bit of things that kind of help push my black and gray kind of where it never was, which was really, really cool. There's some Guy Atchison, I love his biomechanical color stuff like that. That had me, before I was a tattooer, I even loved Guy Atchison. Like, he was new to the scene at that point, right?
Is he the one that does all the alien stuff?
Yes,
the
alien, Geiger type stuff, but super colorful and kind of in your face, kind of Zen yoga feel in the background of a lot of his drawings and paintings. And then a lot of people, Bob Tyrell, a lot of the olds, a lot of the greats. Many are dead. Many are dead that I looked up to. You know, you get to a certain age.
Laugh, but like
you get to a certain age, you know, and most of your gatherings are funerals instead of weddings, right?
Do you have any advice for upcoming artists, like someone that wants to be a tattoo artist? What would you tell them to do, like step by step? What's some good advice?
Man, there's a lot of tattooers, first off, so like there's a lot of fish in this sea, so you better be able to make some really good meals out of ramen and a can of peas if you're getting into the industry until you make a name for yourself. It's hard work, you got to be dedicated, but at the end of the day, it's the best job I've ever had. It's really, I mean, is it a job? If you love what you do and you go to work every single day with a smile on your face, like, is it really a job?
Yeah. What would you say, like, the part of this job that, like, sucks is?
People's attitudes. Just random people you don't know, their expectations and their beliefs might not totally coincide with what is reality.
So people,
and a lot of people like to hang on to those. I think the kids call them Karens and Kens or something. But a lot of people like to hold on to their ideologies, and it doesn't always fly with tattoos.
I know what you mean. What kind of tattooing are you really into, and is there anything that you absolutely will not do?
Bold, traditional, black and gray or color, it don't matter. If it's got a bold, solid outline to it, I'll love it for sure.
Why do you like doing that type the worst or the best?
Personally, I just think it stands the test of time. I've seen super high contrast, realistic tattoos after 10 years, and I've seen a super cool traditional eagle after 10 years. That eagle is way more an eagle than that's a portrait. You know, a lot of it falls out. A lot of things happen with realism where it needs to be touched up over time, which people usually understand that getting into it. And people like Bob and Marshall have kind of narrowed it down to where, like, they don't need as much touch-ups as they used to. You know, we figured out how to put enough ink under the skin to make it last. But with traditional tattoos, I just do it. You know,
what's the most rewarding part of your job?
Doing a cover-up for somebody.
Yeah.
Like, that is, to me, that like puts a smile on my face big time when somebody goes and gets their mother's writing tattooed, when it never should have been done that small. It never should have been done the way it was done. And you give them a good solid tattoo, a little heart with mom and a banner and a couple of cherry blossom flowers, something, right? And that tattoo is gonna look badass in 20 years, no matter what.
Are you accepting new clients?
Always. I will never turn down a client unless you make me turn you down.
How would that happen? Like, what would somebody do that you would absolutely not work with them?
If they do actions within the shop or on my cell phone or on my social media that would constitute them to go viral if it was videoed, this is probably not a good look.
What's the best way for a potential new client to get in contact with you?
Tattoos by JR at appointments@gmail.com or Instagram, Facebook. I've used the same tag. I've been tattooing since the internet was like boring.
You said 1999,
1999.
right? How many years is that now?
24, I think.
Wow.
24 years.
I think
Like, I've been tattooing as longer than my kids have been born, and my oldest is going to turn 24 in November.
Yeah,
So,
that's how I keep track too.
Like, I started tattooing a long time ago.
And how long have you worked at this shop?
About a year.
Oh, really?
Yep, only about a year.
So is it true that, like, maybe some people don't even know that you're here?
That's possible. That's quite possible. I was at a shop for 8 years out in Highland, Michigan. And my wife got a new job, and I was ready for a change. And me and Marshall used to see each other at conventions all the time. I don't know if it was because we were both from the Detroit area that they would put us next or near each other or what, but we'd always end up near each other and we'd end up shooting shit. And one day I said I was looking for a job, and he said, hey, come talk to me in about a month. And I said, okay, I'll come talk to you.
That's awesome. What do you like to do in your free time when you're not tattooing?
I'm a huge gamer. Video games are my thing. I think that's maybe why I like the traditional art so much, because a lot of that is bold lines, bold colors, bold graphics in your face. Like, I think that's why I like the traditional stuff so much. But
What's your favorite video game?
That's a hard one.
Top three.
Top three would be OG Super Mario Brothers. Tiger Woods Golf. People are gonna laugh at me, but Tiger Woods Golf. I loved that game. I made some money on the internet on that game because we used to play on leagues. And then probably Diablo. Yeah, I've played the entire season, or the entire series all the way through. I played the first one in 1998. And then the second one in the thousands, and so on and so on. So those would probably be my top three games.
Okay. So back to tattooing for just a second. You said your favorite style of tattoos is like bold, traditional, color, or black and gray. What's your favorite style of art? Because I know you do some kind of art outside of tattooing.
I do personally, like if I'm painting a painting, if it's not weird acid trip, kind of throw paint on a canvas and come up with weird stuff like that's up there. My other kind is I like to do a thing they call liquid acrylic pour painting, where you dump colors on the canvas and you use air and maybe the backside of a pencil to manipulate and create design work. That's super fun because you never know what you're going to get at the end. And I think that's really cool, is going into something not knowing how it's going to turn out.
Do you ever do that with your tattoos?
I have. I have. I actually have a thing I'm trying to do more of where it's a kind of an abstract solid black tattoo where it's more random lines, and there's a Japanese, man, it's drawing a blank now. There's a Japanese art form where it looks like a bunch of wavy black lines. I forget the name of it, but how they do it is they take their sumi ink and they put it in water, and they put it in water and they manipulate it with a stick, and they make all these cool swirls, and they keep dropping more drops in, and then they lay a print or a paper on top of it and hook it up, and you have a painting.
Super interesting.
So I like things where maybe it's not always in your control of how things are going to turn out, right? Like you got to kind of do what you can do with what you got given.
What's your favorite tattoo that you've ever done?
Oh wow. Impact wise, there's a traditional eagle on a chest on an 18-year-old kid that I didn't think he was going to set for, but he sat for it. And we blasted out shoulder blade or shoulder tip to shoulder tip down through his nipples. Huge. It's on my Instagram. Huge black eagle. I love that tattoo.
Aesthetically, because of how it looks?
Aesthetically, you can tell that's an eagle from a block away, right? Because it's so big and bold. What tattoos do I hold the most dear to my heart? Probably the first tattoo I ever put on my wife would probably be one that I hold really dear to my heart.
What is it?
It's some black lines and some butterflies, some swirly black filigree type lines and a couple little blue butterflies. I did not know she was gonna be my wife that day when I tattooed it. She was a random girl that made an appointment with me through my counter girl. When I tattooed her, we talked, and you know, we hit it off, and she's Mrs. Tattoo now. Like,
how long have you guys been married?
Oh, I want to say going on 10 years.
That's awesome, man.
Maybe it might be a little longer. She's probably gonna kick my ass for that one. But
what's the weirdest tattoo you've ever done?
Oh, by far, hands down, cherry blossom asshole.
Cherry blossom asshole?
Yeah.
Do you have a picture?
I do not have a picture. I do somewhere, probably on a Google Drive somewhere. Yeah, I worked in Pontiac at the time, and a lady came in 10 minutes before close, and she wanted a flower on her butt. And I said, cool, flower on your butt? And she goes, yeah, but I want it like on my butt. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And she described a little further in detail that she didn't want the center of the flower because she already had the center of the flower. She just needed 5 petals and a couple leaves. And I said, oh, I think I get what you're saying. And then we did
props to you for still doing it, man.
Well, there's a handling fee with everything, right?
Yeah, see, they didn't tell me that when I had to do mine. What's your favorite spare time activity?
Oh, definitely video games and disc golf too. I love disc golf. I play somewhat on a regular when my back allows me to. And I like to think I'm okay good. I like to think I'm okay good at it.
Yeah, you're definitely better than me. But, so are you a dog or a cat person?
Oh, definitely a dog person.
Yeah, why do you say it like that? What's up with, you just don't like cats?
No, okay, I've never, it's not that I don't like cats. I just haven't really been a cat. Like, cats don't listen. Like, name a cat that you can say, here, like, come here, cat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cats don't listen. They don't sit and stay. It don't roll over and play tricks. Like, it doesn't go out in the water and get my ducks after I shoot them. I don't know. But there has been a cat in my life. When I met my wife, she had a cat that was not mine. It was hers. And I hated that cat. I hated that cat. But the more time went on, me and that cat became buddies. And I'm pretty sure I was a little more devastated when we had to have him put down than my wife was devastated. That little dude was my buddy. Like, every night he'd hang out with me on the arm of my chair while I was playing video games or drawing. Every night for years. He was my little buddy.
So you don't totally write cats off, but
Not totally, but
you're definitely a dog
I'm definitely
person.
a dog person.
What
Definitely.
about soft or hard shell tacos? Do you have a preference?
Hard shell?
Why?
Because I'm not a pussy.
Okay. Okay. I think that's all I got for you, unless you can think of anything else you want to
No,
say.
I'm good.
Okay. One more time. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way they could contact you?
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Tattoos by JR. I'm sure you put a little picture of it, or my email, which is tattoosbyjr.appointments@gmail.
And you're also able to be contacted on the website, right?
On the website, straight to the eternal.com website. There's a link right on there. Take you right to me and
Cool.
send me a message. I don't agree to do anything until we've talked about things, though. Like, there are tattoos that people won't do.
Yeah.
I always like a face-to-face consultation. It's always preferred. That way I know me and the client, we're on the same page.
Good.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
No problem.